True peace is not something that comes from the world around us, it comes from within. Many people spend their lives chasing peace in external things. They think that if they could just change their circumstances, if they could get a better job, a bigger house, or a more comfortable life, then they would finally be at peace. But no matter how much they acquire, no matter how much they achieve, something always feels unsettled. That is because peace is not found in what we have, it is found in who we are and how we train our minds to respond to life. The truth is, the world will always be unpredictable. Situations will change, people will disappoint us, plans will fall apart. If our peace depends on everything going perfectly, we will never truly experience it. Real peace does not come when everything is going right. It comes when we have the strength to remain calm, even when things go wrong. It is an inner stability that is not shaken by the storms of life, a foundation that remains firm no matter what comes our way. When difficulties arise, many people immediately react with fear, worry, or frustration. They allow their emotions to dictate their response, and soon anxiety takes over. But peace is a choice. It is not an automatic feeling. It is a decision we make to stay calm, to trust, to focus on what is true rather than what is troubling. The more we practice choosing peace over panic, the more natural it becomes, just like a muscle that grows stronger with use. Our ability to remain calm strengthens when we train our minds to resist fear and embrace faith. This kind of peace does not mean we ignore reality. It does not mean we pretend that hardships don't exist. Rather, it means that we face them with confidence, knowing that we are not defined by our circumstance. It means that we refuse to let worry control our minds. We may not be able to control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. And when we choose to remain calm, we find that we have more clarity, more strength, and more wisdom to handle whatever comes our way. One of the greatest misconceptions about peace is that it is passive. Some believe that to be at peace means to sit back and do nothing, to simply accept whatever happens. But true peace is active. It requires us to take control of our thoughts, to be intentional about where we place our focus. It means replacing negative thoughts with hopeful ones, replacing fear with trust, and choosing to see beyond the immediate struggle to the greater purpose at work. Peace is available to anyone who seeks it, but it must be cultivated. It requires daily practice, daily surrender of worry, and daily commitment to remain steady. When we train our minds in this way, no circumstance, no hardship, no trial will have the power to shake us. True peace is not found in a perfect life. It is found in a mind that remains calm in the midst of life's imperfections. Every single day a battle takes place within us. It is not a battle fought with weapons or waged in the streets. It is a battle of the mind, the thoughts we entertain, the fears we allow, the doubts we feed. All of these shape our reality. The greatest struggles we face are not always external, but internal. Before a man is defeated by his circumstances, he is first defeated in his mind. Before a person gives in to fear, they have already surrendered in their thoughts. The mind is where every victory is won and every defeat begins. If you allow anxiety to take root, it will grow like a weed, choking out your peace. If you let doubt creep in, it will weaken your confidence and shake your foundation. That is why we must be diligent in guarding our thoughts, in choosing what we allow to take hold in our minds. Consider how easily the mind can be led astray. A single negative thought can spiral into a storm of worry. A single doubt can open the door to discouragement. If you dwell on failure, you will begin to believe you are not capable. If you focus on fear, you will start to feel powerless. The battle is not always in what happens to you. It is in how you think about what happens to you. Two people can go through the same trial, but one will rise while the other will fall. The difference is not in their situation, but in their mindset. Training the mind is like strengthening a muscle. It requires effort, discipline, and daily practice. You must be intentional about what you focus on. Instead of dwelling on what could go wrong, focus on what is true, what is right, what is good. When fear tries to enter, reject it. When negativity knocks, do not open the door. Just as you would not allow a thief into your home, do not allow destructive thoughts into your mind. Peace is not the natural state of the mind. It must be cultivated. The world is filled with noise, with distractions, with pressures that seek to shake you. If you are not careful, your mind will be tossed back and forth by every difficulty, by every challenge that comes your way. But a trained mind remains calm. A trained mind does not give in to panic. A trained mind does not give in to panic. A trained mind stands firm when everything around it is uncertain. You have the power to take control of your thoughts. You do not have to be ruled by fear. You do not have to be a prisoner to worry. The mind is a battlefield, but you are not without weapons. Choose to fill your thoughts with hope, with truth, with confidence. The storms may come, but they will not shake you. The troubles may rise, but they will not defeat you. Because when your mind is strong, your life will stand firm. Life is full of challenges, difficulties, and unexpected turns. No matter who you are, where you come from, or what you believe, storms will come. These storms take different forms: loss, disappointment, financial struggles, sickness, broken relationships, or personal failures. Some storms appear suddenly without warning, while others build over time, pressing in on every side. When trouble comes, it is easy to feel overwhelmed, to panic, to wonder if you will ever find peace again. But the truth is, peace is not found in the absence of storms. It is found in the way you respond to them. Too many people believe that if they could just remove all difficulties from their lives, they would finally be at peace. They think that if they had more money, a better job, or perfect relationships, then they could be calm and secure. The key to true peace is not avoiding storms, but learning to remain steady in the middle of them. When the winds of life blow hard, you have a choice. You can allow the storm to control you, filling your heart with fear and doubt, or you can stand firm, trusting that you will make it through. The strongest trees are not those that never face storms, but those that have been tested by the wind and still stand. Their roots grow deeper, their branches stronger, because they have endured. In the same way, every challenge you face can either weaken you or make you stronger. Calmness in the storm begins in the mind. When trouble comes, the first battle is not in the situation itself, but in your thoughts. If you dwell on fear, you will feel overwhelmed. If you focus on the worst possible outcome, you will be filled with anxiety. But if you remind yourself that storms do not last forever, that you have overcome difficulties before, and that you will find a way through, then peace will begin to grow inside you. Training your mind to stay calm in a storm does not mean ignoring reality. It does not mean pretending that hardships are not difficult, but it does mean choosing how you will respond. It means recognizing that fear does not have to control you. It means refusing to let the storm dictate your emotions. Instead of being tossed back and forth by circumstances, you can anchor yourself in truth, in hope, in the knowledge that you are stronger than you think. Every storm in life carries a lesson. Some storms reveal weaknesses that need to be strengthened. Others teach patience, resilience, or faith. And some storms, though painful, lead to unexpected blessings on the other side. No matter how dark the clouds may seem, the sun is still shining above them. The storm will pass. The wind will die down. The waves will settle. And if you train your mind to stay calm, you will come out of the storm stronger, wiser, and ready to face whatever comes next. The thoughts you allow to take root in your mind have the power to shape your life. Every action, every decision, and every reaction stems from what you dwell on. If your mind is filled with fear, worry, and negativity, your life will reflect those things. But if your mind is set on peace, faith, and strength, your life will follow in that direction. What you feed your mind determines the course of your life. Many people live in a constant state of stress, not because their circumstances are unbearable, but because their thoughts are. They wake up thinking about everything that could go wrong. They dwell on past mistakes, worry about the future, and replay negative conversations over and over again. Over time, this kind of thinking becomes a pattern, shaping how they see the world. Even when good things happen, they struggle to enjoy them because their mind has been trained to expect the worst. But it doesn't have to be that way. Just as negative thoughts shape a troubled life, positive and faithful thoughts shape a strong and peaceful life. You have the power to take control of your mind. You don't have to let every fear, every doubt, or every worry take up space in your thoughts. You can train your mind to focus on what is good, what is true, and what is uplifting. Imagine two people facing the same difficult situation. One constantly tells themselves, "This is too hard, I can't handle this. Things will never get better." The other says, "This is a challenge, but I will get through it. I have faced difficulties before, and I will overcome this too." The situation is the same, but their experiences will be completely different because of how they think. One will be weighed down by discouragement, while the other will walk forward with confidence. The difference is not in what they face, but in how they choose to think about it. Your mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant and nurture will grow. If you constantly plant seeds of fear, anger, and bitterness, that is what will flourish in your life. But if you plant seeds of peace, gratitude, and hope, those things will take root and produce good fruit. You cannot expect to live a peaceful life while allowing toxic thoughts to overrun your mind. Training your mind to think differently does not mean ignoring reality or pretending that hardships don't exist. It means choosing to focus on what strengthens rather than what weakens. It means recognizing negative thoughts when they come, but not letting them control you. It means making a habit of replacing worry with trust, frustration with patience, and despair with hope. As you learn to guard your thoughts and redirect them toward what is life-giving, you will find that your life begins to change. Your actions will follow your thoughts, and your emotions will align with the peace and strength you cultivate within. Change your thoughts, and you will change your life. Emotions are a powerful force in our lives. They shape our experiences, influence our decisions, and color the way we see the world. But too often we allow our emotions to dictate our actions, leading us into places of regret, fear, or frustration. When we let emotions control us, we become like a ship tossed by the waves, moving wherever the wind of circumstance takes us. But this is not how we were meant to live. We were created with the ability to rise above the pull of momentary feelings and to walk in wisdom, stability, and peace. Many people believe that emotions are automatic responses, something beyond their control. They think, "I can't help feeling angry," or "I can't stop worrying," as if emotions are an unstoppable force that must be obeyed. But the truth is, emotions are influenced by our thoughts, and our thoughts can be trained. We do not have to be prisoners of anxiety, fear, or frustration. We have been given the ability to guide our emotions rather than be guided by them. When a situation arises that stirs anger or frustration, we have a choice. We can react impulsively, saying words that hurt and making decisions we later regret, or we can pause, take a breath, and respond with wisdom. A calm mind is a trained mind, one that does not give in to every passing feeling. It recognizes that emotions are real, but they are not always reliable. Just because we feel something strongly does not mean it should determine our actions. Think about the times when anger took control and you said something you wish you could take back. Think about the moments when fear held you back from stepping into something good. How many times have emotions led you down a path of regret? But now think of the times you chose patience over frustration, faith over fear, and wisdom over impulse. Those are the moments that brought peace, strength, and stability. It takes discipline to master emotions. It requires the daily practice of choosing calm over chaos, patience over frustration, and trust over worry. This is not about ignoring emotions or pretending they don't exist. It is about recognizing them, understanding them, and then deciding how to respond. You do not have to be ruled by anger, controlled by fear, or overwhelmed by anxiety. You have the power to choose peace, to choose strength, to choose a steady mind even when emotions try to shake you. The world around us is full of reasons to worry, to react, to become discouraged. But if we train our minds to stay calm, we will not be easily moved. We will stand firm when others panic, remain steady when chaos surrounds us, and walk in peace when the world is in turmoil. Emotions will come and go, but we do not have to be their slaves. We can live with wisdom, respond with grace, and walk with a peace that nothing can take away. Just as an athlete trains daily to build strength and endurance, so must we train our minds to guard against negativity, fear, and anxiety. The mind is constantly bombarded with information, emotions, and external pressures that seek to unsettle our peace. If left unchecked, these influences can take root, shaping our thoughts, our reactions, and ultimately our lives. That is why it is essential to be intentional about what we allow into our minds and to develop habits that reinforce inner stability and calm. Every thought has the potential to either build us up or tear us down. If we dwell on worry, we will find ourselves anxious. If we focus on doubt, we will begin to question our purpose. If we allow anger to consume us, our relationships will suffer. But when we guard our minds daily, we become selective about what we entertain. We reject the lies that say we are not enough. We silence the voices that tell us to be afraid. Instead, we choose to meditate on what is good, true, and uplifting. Guarding the mind does not happen by accident. It requires discipline and intentionality. Just as a soldier protects a city by standing watch at its gates, we must stand watch over our thoughts. This means being mindful of what we consume, whether through media, conversations, or even our own self-talk. If we constantly feed our minds with negativity, we should not be surprised when our hearts feel heavy. But if we fill our minds with encouragement, hope, and wisdom, we will cultivate a spirit of peace that no external circumstance can easily shake. There will always be challenges, unexpected setbacks, and difficult people. The world around us will not always be calm, but that does not mean we must live in a state of turmoil. The key is not in controlling what happens to us, but in controlling how we respond. When we train our minds daily, we become less reactive and more resilient. Instead of fear, we respond with faith. Instead of frustration, we practice patience. Instead of stress, we lean into peace. This training is not a one-time decision, but a lifelong practice. Each day we must choose what thoughts we will allow to shape our emotions and action. Will we let fear dictate our choices, or will we stand firm in trust? Will we let negativity pull us down, or will we lift our eyes to something greater? These small daily decisions determine whether we live in constant worry or in unshakable peace. When we guard our minds daily, we build a foundation that cannot be easily broken. Even when challenges arise, even when uncertainty looms, we remain steady, and in that steadiness we find true strength, not a fleeting sense of calm that depends on good circumstances, but a deep, abiding peace that nothing in this world can take away. Fear is one of the most powerful forces in the world. It grips hearts, clouds judgment, and keeps people from stepping into the fullness of life. Fear whispers lies, telling you that you are not strong enough, not capable enough, and that disaster is just around the corner. It paralyzes, leaving many stuck in cycles of worry and doubt. But there is something far greater than fear: faith. Faith is the anchor that holds firm when the storms of life rage. It is the assurance that no matter what happens, there is a greater plan, a higher purpose, and a strength beyond your own. Faith is not the denial of reality. It is the confidence that reality does not have the final say. Life will bring difficulties. There will be hardships, disappointments, and trials that seem impossible to overcome. But fear magnifies those problems, making them appear larger than they really are. Faith, on the other hand, shifts perspective. It reminds you that you are not alone, that there is a way forward, and that even in the darkest moments, light will break through. The difference between fear and faith is the difference between panic and peace. When fear takes over, the mind races with worst-case scenarios. It creates stress, anxiety, and despair. But faith brings calm in the middle of the storm. It does not remove challenges, but allows you to walk through them with confidence. Faith does not promise an easy path, but it provides strength for the journey. It reassures you that there is no situation too big, no obstacle too great, and no problem too overwhelming when you trust in something greater than yourself. Fear thrives on uncertainty, but faith is built on trust. Fear says, what if everything falls apart? But faith says, even if things fall apart, I will stand firm. Fear tries to control, but faith surrenders. It lets go of the need to have all the answers and embraces the truth that not everything is within human control. Faith understands that even in chaos there is order, even in pain there is purpose, and even in loss there is hope. Training the mind to choose faith over fear is a daily practice. It requires intentionality. It means guarding your thoughts, refusing to dwell on negativity, and focusing on what is true and unshakable. It means stepping forward even when the path is unclear, trusting that each step will be guided. It means replacing words of doubt with words of belief, speaking life instead of fear. Fear will always try to creep in, but it does not have to rule your heart. When you choose faith over fear, you step into a life of courage, peace, and strength. You learn to stand firm in the face of uncertainty, to remain calm in the midst of trials, and to walk with confidence no matter what comes your way. Faith is the key to living free from fear, and when you hold on to it, no storm can shake you. Unshakable peace is possible, but it does not come by accident. In a world filled with uncertainty, fear, and unexpected challenges, many people find themselves overwhelmed, tossed back and forth by the waves of life. They search for peace in external things, financial security, relationships, success. But these are fragile foundations. When trouble comes, these things can be shaken, leaving behind anxiety and despair. But there is a greater peace, a peace that does not depend on circumstances. It is a peace that stands firm in the face of adversity, a peace that remains unshaken no matter what storms arise. This kind of peace does not come from the outside, it comes from within. It is the result of a trained mind, a disciplined heart, and a steadfast trust in something greater than ourselves. Every day we are faced with choices. We can choose to dwell on fear, uncertainty, and negativity, or we can choose to anchor our thoughts in truth, hope, and faith. The human mind is like a field. Whatever is planted in it will grow. If we constantly feed our minds with worry, doubt, and fear, then anxiety will take root and spread. But if we fill our minds with thoughts of peace, trust, and confidence, then no matter what happens around us, we will remain steady. Many people believe that peace is the absence of problems, but that is not true. Life will always bring challenges, but peace is the ability to remain calm and strong in the midst of those challenges. It is the ability to face uncertainty without being consumed by fear. It is the ability to respond to difficulty with wisdom instead of panic. This kind of peace is not something we are born with. It is something we must develop. Just as an athlete trains his body for endurance, we must train our minds to remain calm in the face of trials. The world teaches us to react quickly, to panic when things go wrong, to fight back when we are wrong, to fear when the future is unclear. But a mind that has been trained for peace does not react in fear. It responds with faith. A heart that is anchored in trust does not waver when the storm comes. It stands firm. This does not mean ignoring problems or pretending difficulties do not exist. It means facing them with strength, with wisdom, and with an unshakable belief that no trial is greater than the peace that is within us. Peace is a choice. It is a daily decision to guard our thoughts, to reject fear, and to embrace trust. It is refusing to be controlled by worry and instead choosing to remain steady no matter what comes our way. This kind of peace is not only possible, it is available to all who are willing to seek it, to train for it, and to hold on to it with all their heart. No storm, no trial, no hardship can take away the peace that is rooted in truth.